Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 3-0 Take, where we talk all things Major League Baseball. Here's Kyle Corwin and Nate Reyes. It all starts right now.
Yep. This is 5:57. I'll be your host, Kyle Corwin. I'm not doing the whole intro. I'm at the beach. I'm not screaming here. I'm not doing all that.
Feels like a little bit of a cop out, but
you
got to do what you got to do.
I'm in a slower state.
Vacation mode.
I'm in vacation mode. I'm not doing all that hooting and hollering and shouting, even though we just got done talking about the weekend that our respective teams have had and how we're just trending in complete opposite directions. But that's neither here nor there.
You're such a cherry picker. It's crazy. It's crazy.
It's a what have you done for me lately kind of sport, and that's what we're talking about. But
I guess.
Alas, we're here, episode 557, and we're here to talk about the disaster that was the Speedway Classic. It was so. Is this fair to say? So much a disaster last night that I, frankly, had kind of lost interest by the time they resumed it today. Is that fair to say?
I was golfing today, so I didn't even watch it.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what we're working with here. And look, let me just say this. I saw a lot of people, because I had posted like a couple tweets pertaining to it, and they're just like, people love to complain. People are going to find anything to complain about. And I'm like, you know what, pal, buddy, you're right. Couldn't be further. I mean, you couldn't be more spot on with that take. However, there are certain things that people complain about where it's completely warranted and justified. The fact that they're selling hot dogs without buns,
nachos without cheese
before they even reached the second inning. And on top of that, I found out that they were charging full price for said snack. That's a crime.
Dropping $13 for just some tortilla chips is nuts.
Yeah, cheeseless nachos.
I think that's more of a crime.
That's chips.
I think that's more of a crime than a hot dog without a bun.
You want to? Okay, let's have the discussion. What's more of a crime? A hot dog without a bun?
Look, let's talk heroes. Let's talk heroes. Who's the hero of the hot dog? The hot dog, not the bun. Who's the hero of nachos? It's the cheese.
Okay.
It's the cheese.
I'll concede. I'll concede. That's a valid point.
So if I'm dropping $13 gets you like 4 bags of tortilla chips
at the store.
At the store. Yeah.
That's criminal. And then I heard the merchandise was almost out. Like how not to just like dive headfirst into how bad the Speedway Classic was, but that's kind of where we have to start, because that's what everybody in baseball is talking about right now, and for good reason. Because
what was it on today?
Like what network? Fox.
Yeah, it was back on Fox.
Fox picked it back up. But my whole thing is if you're Major League Baseball, sorry, just checking my feed. If you're Major League Baseball, you have to be like, you knew this was happening. This event did not sneak up on you. You've been promoted.
Right.
We've gotten on Major League Baseball before about not promoting their their marquee events as well as they should. They've been talking about the Speedway Classic for some time. So with that said, this event certainly did not sneak up on you. But the fact that this event is unable to handle the influx of people, both with the food, like we talked about, the merchandise, the seating, the parking. I heard the parking was a nightmare.
I didn't hear about the parking. That's tough too.
Like I heard people had to take multiple shuttles to even get to the front of the entrance.
See, that doesn't add up to me, because you have what do you call that? A track, arena, stadium,
a racetrack.
You just call it a track.
You're not a NASCAR guy, are you?
Not at all. How many do they host? 100,000?
Well, they said that they were anticipating 85,000 at this event,
and it was very empty. So we're talking 120, 120,000 when it's full for a race?
Let's check it out. Let's confirm. This is Bristol.
How do you not have enough parking? When 3/4 of that is coming.
According to Google, Bristol Motor Speedway has a capacity of 146,000 people.
But you don't have enough parking for 80?
You not have enough. How is it this much of a mess? Look, I understand the weather out of your control. We know this. That's
sure.
There's no reason to harp on the weather. That's just out of your control.
Before you move on from the weather,
maybe we can harp on the weather.
Starting the game. Why are we starting? What? For an inning?
I get it. Okay, well, let's talk about it. From a trying to start the game standpoint, I understand, because like I said in our group text last night, from like a Major League Baseball standpoint, you can't just be like, let's try it again tomorrow, even though that's ultimately what they did.
Yeah.
You can't have all this buildup and then not see a single pitch. The issue that I had with Major League Baseball and this whole thing as it pertains to the weather was the conditions that they tried to resume this game in. Like before they even brought the tarp out, they've got guys bringing on the bags of dirt, bags, trying to, make it somewhat playable. And I'm like, I know money's important to Major League Baseball, but is it this important to where we're trying to play in this?
Sure.
This is a nightmare. So yeah, while the weather certainly is out of their control, I understand that. There was just so many things where I feel like they were scrambling, and on a lot of things, I don't know if they erred on the correct side, if they threw caution to the right things.
Yeah, look, if I'm running the show here, on the logistical stadium/track side of things, I think I know about that weather 3-4 days before, right? I know that storm's coming 2-3 days. I'll give you 2 days.
And on that note, from what I've heard, I don't know much about Eastern Tennessee, specifically Bristol, but apparently it's been raining there for like the last 2 months. So I guess Eastern Tennessee turns into like Seattle this time of year. I'm not entirely sure.
If I see that storm coming, one of as far as a checklist goes, if I've got 10 priority checklist items that I got to take care of, more food is pretty high on that checklist for me. If you see rain delays, I need to make sure that the taps are flowing, that the cheese is moving, and that the buns are aplenty. How are you out of buns and not dogs? First of all,
What's a great question. About? That's a great question. Why is the ratio off? Like
why do we have enough dogs?
Do we have an influx of people that are specifically requesting dogs only right out of the gate? Like what happened?
No disrespect, but not that side of the country. You know what I'm saying? Not that area of the country. They know how to eat. They know how to party. Those people park their RVs in the middle of that track and stay for the weekend.
It's a lifestyle. It's a
roasting pigs. Like,
it's a lifestyle.
They know how to eat. They know how to get down. What?
They've got a great view from the middle of the yard there. However, you want to talk about views. That's another element to this whole thing that I think Major League Baseball dropped the ball on. Have you seen some of the pictures from the seats? Atrocious. Like we're talking like Fenway Park on steroids. Like the big columns like around Fenway and other various parks that are a little bit older.
Sure.
That on steroids. Like you can't. There was a view I saw. In fact, like right before we hopped on, I was watching a TikTok of I guess it was some guy and his girlfriend or fiance or whatever, and they were behind home plate, but like half a mile away. And the back of the concourse, we'll call it a concourse, like essentially like the press media area, the backstop area, was obstructing the view. They couldn't even see the circle at home plate. I mean, what
$500-$600 to get in there.
No doubt. And I can just hear people as I'm saying this being like, well, nobody's forcing you to spend money on those tickets. Yeah, that's true. But also, like, how about just not having how about just not having those to begin with? And apparently in that video, the guy even said, I think the caption was like, these tickets were listed as having a quote clear view. And it just pans to the guy as it's like torrential downpour, and he's just like, yeah, this is a clear view. Like, what are we doing? And then if you recall, last thing I'll say on the views, if you recall when this event was first announced, first promoted, I took the rendering of the track and the seats that they had to kind of give you an idea of what it would look like, and I did some super elementary math. And I sort of took like a scale of like knowing how wide the track is, knowing, taking the distance from the track to the wall. And I extrapolated that out to the furthest seat that they had in the rendering, which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they actually put like they used those seats that were in the rendering that were like 3/4 of a mile away. And I said in that tweet, and I said, this is very basic, like elementary, math here, but I think we're dealing with like a minimum of being 1,000 feet away. That's like watching, like if you're watching a play at the plate, that's like watching a play at the goal line from like 3.5 football fields away.
Yeah.
That's what we're dealing with.
Yeah. What a waste, man. What a waste. Because like on paper is a good idea. Look, some positives. I didn't love the hats, but I did like the jerseys. I put that in our chat. I like the racing style numbers on the jerseys. I think that was a nice touch. I didn't love the hats. I think I'm out of positives.
Can I jump in with a positive?
Sure.
Yeah. More general. Because I was thinking about today after the fiasco that was last night. I think this was a super unique, the more I thought about it, very unique crossover in taking Major League Baseball and the world that is NASCAR. Like, people can make jokes all they want, but like when talking about those two respective sports, like there is a little bit of crossover in terms of followership, just a little bit. Yeah. So it kind of just made sense from that aspect. However, it was just the execution, like the buildup and everything was awesome. Even like the pregame stuff, I saw that like they had pit crews out there like prior to pregame intros and things like that. I'm like, this is super cool. Is it kind of gimmicky? Like, sure,
that's fine.
But like that's the case with a lot of these events. So you kind of just have to grin and bear it. However, it's still I think the idea was excellent. However, the execution was not, because again, how you were so unprepared. And to your point, for an event that didn't even reach like 75% of what you're typically capable of handling on a standard race day. Crazy. I don't understand.
Yeah, I think the first mistake was obviously trying to force the game to happen on Saturday. I felt like Sunday made more sense. Race days are Sundays, aren't they?
Correct.
Okay, there's a drop the ball number one there. Number two, especially with the weather coming in, like what are we doing there? I've been in the camp that I think, look, I like go to the field because I've seen a lot of takes where it's like, let's get the Field of Dreams back into the mix. That's been the best so far as like a midsummer fun event, non-stadium, field trip. I've been in the camp that like, I understand you building bleachers kind of up the line and behind the backstop. Put some bleachers back in the corn. I'm not saying up against the very edge of the corn. I'm saying back in the corn. Why not? Why not put bleachers out there where people are watching a home run land in front of them in corn? Like if you're going to make this Field of Dreams, make it Field of Dreams. Put seats on the track. move the fences, readjust the alignment of the field to where you can have people park their RVs in the grass in the middle. Like, if we're really going to blend this thing, if we're really going to commit to the scene,
if we're going to do it right.
Commit to the scene. Like, how many NASCAR fans were like, I would go to this if I had the opportunity to walk on that track for the first time. I love my NASCAR. I've never stepped foot on that track. Imagine walking on the track to get to your seats. That is feeling. If you're a NASCAR fan, you're in that area, you want to go to that game, imagine feeling that feeling. If you're a Field of Dreams fan and you love that movie, imagine feeling the feeling of walking through the cornfield to get to your seats. If you're going to do it all the way. Let's not just try to make sure that we can build these spots to where sponsorships are available, that to make sure that we can actually have seats that make sense. Like, let's commit to the bit. And I don't think they've fully committed to some of these things. So that's where I'm at. I think it'd be really neat if you're watching your kids play around near the RV in the grass, and you got these guys that have, tailgated all day, hanging out back there, cooking up barbecue, grilling, and they're on the grass. And it's on a Sunday because that's race day. That's how you blend it. Why do I need a raise? I need a raise. I need a promotion.
This goes back to what I was.
Rob didn't call. He needs to be calling me.
Yeah, can you double check? Real quick? Did he call?
Rob. A couple missed calls, and it wasn't not Rob.
Not Rob. Yeah, that's tough. This goes back to what I was saying, where I don't remember how recently I said this, but I remember saying this recently. Something to the effect of like, sure, we're not the powers that be with Major League Baseball or any fans really out there. We're not the powers that be. So we don't have any say in these decisions necessarily when the rubber hits the road, pun intended. However, it's like some of these decisions that have to be made seem like just such common sense.
Yeah,
to where it's like
such a layup,
and you drop the ball.
Yeah,
you dropped the ball, and it I said it last night. This was a PR nightmare for Major League Baseball because, again, you spend so much time building it up, and like I said, they did a great job promoting it. So credit to them on that front. But this just it was a flop for more reasons than just the weather. Again, that's out of their control. But then when you start hearing it from the people themselves who were there, you start seeing the pictures, you start seeing the people literally holding hot dogs without a bun, just eating them.
Yeah.
It's
not like just one or two. It was all over social media.
Like that's kind of what we're dealing with here.
And
so
like in between innings, let's get some cars out there to race.
Now
it's so easy to do these things. And I saw like a rally car going around.
The home run car. Did you see the home run car today?
Yeah, whatever. Whatever.
I was all right with that. You know what?
They needed more.
Well, Blooper gave us more. You want to go back to that point you made about trying to find positives. Blooper, I think, what was it? He was able to take 13 laps last night before Major League Baseball apparently kicked them off. That's the stuff we need. That's the stuff that people need.
Absolutely. I just need this game to succeed without one of the best mascots in the game. You know what I mean? I need you to set me up for success.
Yeah,
there's a lot that you could have done with this, and they dropped the ball.
Yeah, don't have Bloopers your crutch. Like don't put this all on the back of Blooper. That's what I'm saying.
That's a big load to carry.
He's capable. He's capable of doing it,
sure.
but don't do that to him.
Don't force it on him. Let him do it on his own.
Let it happen naturally. Last thing before we move on here, this was that picture I was telling you about. That's the view. That's a view that was being offered at said game. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about, where people are like, people just love to complain. This is a valid.
That's atrocious.
That is
you
a
can
valid.
See the right fielder and the first base coach, and that's it. What are we doing?
And maybe the second baseman if they're playing in a shift. Other
What are we
than that,
doing?
that's what we're working with here. So to the people that are just like, just stop complaining. No, tell me that this is valid.
No good.
Unbelievable. However, I said we're going to move on, so let's move on. Enough about the Speedway Classic. Shout out to the Braves. They pulled out the dub, but I'll be honest with you. After last night,
I didn't care.
Which I knew was going to happen, and that's what Major League Baseball was trying to avoid. They said like this was their time to shine.
I had plans.
People, I think were going to lose interest once it carried over to the next day. Sadly, or
That's
at least
right.
me, and I think a handful of others. I won't say everybody, but I would venture to say that was the case for a lot of people. But alas, we move on. Nate, it was shared with the baseball world this weekend that Wrigley Field will be hosting the 2027 All-Star Game. Thoughts?
My thoughts are we going to have to go to 3 consecutive All-Star games? That's my initial thought.
My thoughts are we even going to have an All-Star Game in 2027? But
I'm not ready to get there yet. I can't.
But behold, Rob Manfred, the Godfather, has spoken on this matter because he was asked about this. There's a thing they were asking like, Rob, what's going on, man? Still nothing. He said, Rob, are we going to have baseball in 2027? They're asking him the day he made the announcement. To his point, he said, they're asking about a contingency plan. And he said, my contingency plan is to make an agreement with the players and play the 2027 season. Rob, you're so full of crap. Don't stop with it. Nobody with the brain is buying this. You know that guy on TikTok on the latest episode of Who's Buying This?
Yeah.
Same thing. Who's buying this?
Respect for that guy eating a lot of takes guts.
Nobody that knows anything about the game of baseball as it pertains to Major League Baseball and that level, nobody believes what Rob Manfred is saying here. My contingency plan is to make a deal with the players and play in 2027. Nobody believes that. We're not if the way that we're talking about that season and what's to come, the way we are already, just count on this All-Star game not happening, Rob. Like it's cool that the plan is in place, but what are we talking about here?
Okay,
going back to your question, we may not have to make the choice to go to 3 straight All-Star games.
Good point.
It may not happen.
It's a good point. And if you're in the chat, I'd appreciate your opinion. Do we have any teams that aren't gaslighting us?
In what way?
Of a plug in any kind of Aaron Boone response in any question he's ever had during a post-game interview of it's right in front of us. We believe in this team. Is there any team that's not feeling an aspect of that? You're feeling it firsthand with Chaim Bloom after the deadline, right?
Craig Breslow, you mean?
Craig Breslow. You're feeling that with Breslow after the deadline of all the comments, right? Like the Orioles felt it last year. You're having Alex Anthopoulos saying not making any moves at the deadline. My point being is that how many times are we as baseball fans gonna allow ourselves to get gaslit into believing the nonsense? And I get that, like, the level of competition and like the success of your team is a little bit of a different argument versus a CBA agreement. But it's very interesting to see the correlation of the way seemingly all of our GMs answer questions. A lot of managers, a lot of players, a lot of front offices, the commissioner, everyone seems to just want to gaslight their fan base. And as for baseball as a whole, to just sit here and say that it's at least admit that you're a little worried about this upcoming agreement because it is in question. And I feel like the only time we get a straight answer on any of that type of stuff is from Tony Clark, is from the Players Association. And it's at this point where, like, they're so not willing to budge. And then we're also at the same time hearing on the organization side, we're doing all we can. We're always going to do all we can. And it's the same buttering up that we've always experienced. And I'm just like, when is enough enough? When can we get a straight answer? And are there any other sports that really give that? I don't know. I don't know if it's just us falling for this as sports fans. But the reality is we are, and I very much sway towards players.
No doubt.
But we are sitting here trying to pick sides between millionaires and billionaires. And at a certain point, it's like, can you start caring more about your fans? Can you start putting the focus back on us and stop just giving us this all-star vote that we get every year? And that's the only control that we seemingly have over our game. It's insane to me. So I am worried about a 27 season. It sucks. I don't want to admit it, but I'm sick of both sides just sitting here saying everything's going to be fine. Rant over.
Well, real quick before I forget, you want to talk? We talk tinfoil hat all the time. I'm not fully convinced that the all-star vote thing actually is a real thing. Like
I might don a tinfoil hat on that.
I mean, how do we really know if Major League Baseball is tallying these votes from fans for players and not just pushing the players they want? Anyway, that's neither here nor there.
It's not here and it's not there.
It's definitely not here, definitely not there. What I would say though, you mentioned Tony Clark, the players union, all that. We can't be naive to think that, like you said, you and I, as well as a lot of other baseball fans who just like watching players play and not owners sit in their luxury suites. We oftentimes lean more player than not. However, we can't be naive to think that, Tony Clark and company are keeping things on the up and up all the time. There's certainly a level of Tony Clark and the players using the fans as a crutch because 100%. They know that they can position us and posture things in a way that makes it look like, well, we're the player side of things. We've got the fans in our corner. It's like,
when in doubt, we're not blaming the players if there's a strike. We're blaming the organizations.
Correct. So it's like, yeah, that may be true, Tony Clark and camp, that you have us in your corner to an extent. But when players and the organizations and the owners start bickering about, things that really have no impact on us, but they're just bickering about things because that's what's on the table. And to your point, they sort of forget about us fans. That's when you kind of lose me. And I'm like, all right, you guys figure it out and get back to us when you've finally got, when cooler heads prevail. Nate, go ahead.
Are we the kids in like divorce court?
Absolutely.
Every agreement.
Anytime the CBA, anytime these CBA papers come in the mail, us kids know that
who pays the price most in divorces.
Some hard conversations are coming.
It's us. It's us. The kids.
We're the kids.
Cool if Wrigley gets it rolling. You know what I mean? Wrigley sounds nice during the summer. Never been myself, but I could get on board.
Speaking of that, I didn't want to totally derail into the CBA nonsense. However, I feel like it is relevant here. But I do have some information that I pulled from some research I was doing earlier that I was unaware of. This will be, should they host, this will be the fourth time that Wrigley Field hosts the All-Star game. They hosted in 47, 62, and 1990. little did I know, I wasn't even born yet. So, forgive me to those older fans out there who may remember this.
Me neither.
I certainly don't. However, I read that the 1990 All-Star Game was known for its historically low offensive output. The National League was held to 2 hits, the fewest for an All-Star team in history. Get this. This blew my mind. This wasn't even pertaining to the All-Star Game. This was the Home Run Derby. The 8-man Home Run Derby in 1990, the field of 8 guys combined to hit 5 home runs. Ryne Sandberg, rest his soul, won the Home Run Derby with 3 home runs. 3.
Summertime in Chicago.
I don't know what other explanation there is, but that blew my mind. 3. 5 in total. Crazy. Anywho,
Ew.
in addition to, I mentioned
this is why people took steroids.
Yeah, Major League Baseball was looking for something.
Yeah.
That timing would track, by the way.
That
I mean, this is
checks out,
90, and they're like, we gotta
save something. Yeah.
Let's get some things in motion here. But I mentioned this will be their 4th time hosting. Let me see here. Wrigley Field is set to join Cleveland's Municipal Stadium, and the old Yankee Stadium is the only ballparks to host 4 All-Star games. This will be the city of Chicago's 8th time hosting, second only to New York's 9. Obviously, you take into account the White Sox and Mets in that equation. But going back to your original point, I think this would be an awesome event to go to. And I know we're kind of like, on the fence right now about you kind of go to one All-Star game, you kind of get a feel for what it is. But I'm like, Philly next year,
venues.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like it'd be less about the actual games. That honestly, hear me out.
Hear me out. After you're heard out, I have to be heard out.
Maybe we just make it a thing moving forward where we don't even go. Like, we go, but we don't go. Does that make sense? Like, we're not purchasing tickets, but we go for the festivities. We do our wiffle ball derbies. We do our MVP series.
Walk around the village.
Go to the village. Get the content. Get the merch. Maybe
I would go to Derby. I would go to Derby and then stream All-Star Game.
I could get down with that. Little gentleman's agreement, maybe.
That's just something there. I was gonna say for my turn to be heard out.
Sure.
If you're hearing,
I'll hear you out.
I think there's a good chance the Phillies are in the postseason this year. Maybe we go to Philly, knowing that the WBC is next year. Skip Philly All-Star Game because we've already been to Philly.
Yeah.
Wrigley All-Star Game in 27. Home Run Derby in 27. Stream All-Star Game. Go.
Hear me out. I heard you.
You've been heard once. I've been heard once. I can hear
now,
you again.
Hear me out again. Philly 2026. We can't. What if our sweet young prince is on a heater, agrees to do the Derby, and we miss out? That'd be catastrophic.
I mean, barring any injury, he's going to be in the Derby.
Was he one of the guys that said he wouldn't do it until it was like
he was
at
back
home?
in Philly?
Did he say that?
Yeah. That sounds like a Bryce quote.
I swear he said that.
If I was going to throw a Bryce quote out there, that'd be the one. So,
because did he say that about DC? I feel like he almost said that when he was in DC too. So maybe that's just like a home ballpark, do it for the people kind of thing. I don't know. Hard to say.
What?
Hey, our guys over at Beyond the Bank want us to let them know.
I know. There's legitimate dialogue being had.
Sure,
Kyle.
I think on my short list of things I want to witness in the very near future. And the reality of it is I think we're running out of time.
Postseason in the bank.
Specifically featuring a sweet young Prince homer.
I know. That's
where
I'm at.
Preferably like 6th inning or later. If I can get that, I'm framing that moment.
That's where I'm at. All-Star Game's cool. We saw how many other fans are there. Atlanta was still loud for the Braves, but not postseason experience. You know what I mean? So Philly postseason experience, it kind of outweighs the All-Star Game.
I would be amongst my people.
I think you'd be well adopted.
I mean, I've already been adopted into as an honorary fan.
I speaking of the Beyond the Bank podcast, I think there's an undertone of 2009 that still sits in there. I don't feel that way. I don't feel any animosity. I expressed that on the podcast as well.
Understood.
The Phillies, I don't have any angst or animosity. I think there's a little bit of we don't love you guys back from 2009 kind of conversation going. So what I'm saying is I'm willing to do a Phillies postseason game. What if one of our teams is in the postseason, and what if we did a little jaunt this postseason?
That'd be a lot of logistics. These are ideas. A handshake that will at least explore it.
Not everything sticks to the wall, but things need to be thrown at it.
And nothing says accountability like throwing these ideas out on the pod. So let's explore it. Let's put a pin in that. Sure. Speaking of the Yankees, Nate, Marcus Stroman released on Friday.
Reinar, take care.
What a I don't like to rejoice in I don't take joy in people losing their jobs, especially in this climate. Like people losing their jobs, that's a tough reality. Especially in this area, man. I mean, people are losing their jobs out here left and right, and it sucks. However, I wasn't disappointed. No disrespect, except sort of.
A little sprinkle disrespect.
Wasn't disappointed that Marcus Stroman woke up Saturday and was no longer a Yankee. He did, however, I don't know if you saw that post.
Of course.
It was I think it
Gary
was
Sheffield one.
Yes, where he was like,
Gary Sheffield Jr.
He said, I give it 2 days before Marcus Stroman posts something letting us know that he's rich and is unbothered by this release. And it was
he's got his feet up on a private jet saying adios.
Got his watch. I mean, on cue.
That's Marcus Stroman.
That's the Marcus Stroman that we know. And I give it this happened Friday? I give it I'll give it a week. I'll give him a week. The
fully
bad
bought into his new team,
if he even ends up on a new team. But I'll give it till this coming Friday before you start hearing you start getting these sound bites, these quotes, these tweets from Stroman talking about how this guy ruined his life, how this trainer was unprofessional, how ownership mishandled, mistreated. It's every time. Why anybody would choose to bring this guy into their clubhouse is so beyond me. I am truly at a loss for words. It made sense with the Yankees because I'm like, this is just something that they would do. Whatever. No disrespect. Full disrespect, actually. But anybody outside of the Yankees, if you would choose to bring him in, you've at this point in his career, you know exactly what you're doing. There is no excuse to act as if you're just going to be caught off guard by these antics and by this behavior after he gets let go. Crazy.
Marcus Stroman, you are an Atlanta Brave.
We've said that before. I feel like
They
you and I
need
have I think we've arrived at that point before in years past where I'm like,
They
if
need
there's
innings.
if there's a team that likes a little bit of edge, a little bit of, whatever, it's the Braves.
Yeah. You're an Atlanta Brave.
That tracks.
Look, kind of force yourself in a tough situation, kind of back yourself into a corner in the off season in spring training when you're like, I'm a starter. I'm not willing to do anything else. It's like, brother, you throw 91. I think we maybe need to have a conversation about you willing to do some middle relief. I don't think you're really dialing it up enough for 6 innings.
Yeah.
I will say a better 2025 season than I expected.
That says a lot.
I had very low expectations.
Yeah, I don't know.
Very low expectations.
Crazy.
And I'm gonna go ahead and say you're probably right in the fact that we don't know if another team's gonna pick him up.
Somebody's gonna pick him up.
Obviously, no one was willing to send a low A prospect and some cash over at the deadline for him.
True. Or in the offseason, because they were anticipating a little bit of a log jam in terms of rotation depth. They tried to shop him, and
no one was willing to do that.
So that's my point. Is you have that happen in the offseason, and then have the year that he had. Maybe teams have finally wised up and been like, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. No disrespect.
It's really not. You're not. You're not that guy. You're not that guy, pal.
Not that guy.
Diss track with Mike Stud within 6 months.
Fellow Duke boy.
Yeah.
Who's not a Duke boy, but could be considered that guy. Aaron Judge report that he is back next week. I don't want to spend this entire podcast talking about the Yankees. However, relevant to
me neither.
Current events. Well, you bring up a good point there with your response. Just in case you missed it at the beginning, I did allude to the fact that Yankees had quite the weekend this weekend. First time in franchise history, actually, getting swept by the Marlins.
We've been doing interleague play for how long? I'm not too worried about that.
Well, I mean,
there's context involved there.
Yeah, that they suck right now, but that's really the only context you need. Anyway, maybe the fact that Aaron Judge is coming back next week may help. Apparently he's slated for, or I say next week, this coming week, slated to come back. I saw Tuesday, Wednesday, somewhere in that time frame. Is that correct?
We'll see. Yeah, I guess.
Who knows? There might be more medical staff malpractice before that point. So who knows?
It's probably going to DH for like a week, and who knows?
That's a good point. Good point in the chat. Marlins have been playing good baseball, though, out of nowhere. Let's not let the Yankees off the hook. I mean, at the end of the day, it's still the Marlins. Speaking of bad baseball, the Rockies and the Pirates had a game
scored
on Friday.
400 runs this weekend.
671 runs on Friday alone.
Yeah.
And that was only like in the 8th inning. No, but the Rockies, I think, Rockies took it 17-16. This was after going down 9 runs. Apparently, all the damage, like the majority of the damage, happened in the first. There was a grand slam, O'Neal Cruz grand slam, McCutchen 3-run homer, and then hold on. So Colorado scored 1 run in the bottom of the first, 3 in the third, 2 in the fourth, and 4 in the fifth to cut Pittsburgh's lead to 15-10. The Rockies trailed 16-10 before scoring 2 runs in the 8th and 5 in the 9th. Insane.
Coors Field, baby. You never know.
Well, I mean, how many games have we played in Coors Field? This game doesn't happen. This game doesn't happen every day.
Two bad teams.
Two bad teams. Two bad situations for Emmanuel Clase and Luis Ortiz. Their lockers have been cleared out. We were talking about it yesterday. Don't think there's been an instance where lockers have been cleared out and somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just completely guessing. I have done zero research on this matter, but I'm guessing that there's
shooting from the hip.
Guessing that there's zero instances of a locker being cleared out and said player returning later that year, especially with only 2 months left in the season. So safe to say those two guys are done. I'm seeing speculation that they may not even people are like, I'm seeing reports that are like, they may not even play Major League Baseball again. That's wild to me.
I saw something that the Luis Ortiz investigation has been going back to last year.
I will never understand.
I can't believe everything on social media.
No, of course not.
Quote, end quote, Abraham Lincoln. But that's interesting.
Right. And, like, I understand how pervasive sports betting is now. I've been saying since it started becoming legal and becoming promoted by Major League Baseball.
Right. This announcement is brought to you by DraftKings.
This is not smart. Like, I know people love their gambling, but like this is not going to have a good outcome. And I'm not saying that's solely the reason these things are happening, but let's not pretend like this has no impact or influence on what's happening with some of these guys. Like the fact that it's just in your face constantly, I'm going to go ahead and say that has something to do with it. With that said, though, I understand how pervasive it is, like I was saying. However, what I don't understand is how some of these guys make the decisions that they do to place themselves in the situations that they do, given the money they make.
Yeah.
Is this just a situation of like trying to double down, push the envelope a little bit? Do you need it? I don't think so.
Do you need it? I don't think I do. What did they make this year?
What?
League minimum is $700,000.
No, the league minimum's bumped up now, wasn't it?
I thought it was like $750 now.
Emmanuel Clase signed a 5-year $20 million contract. Bro is not hurting for money.
We need a first pitch ball prop.
Yeah, that's tough.
Payout?
740 league minimum.
Dog. What are we doing?
I don't get it. Ortiz, league minimum 740. Still,
I'm not trying to bring like a weird argument to this, but like, especially where they're from, like if we're just gonna talk flat out, these guys are from some horrible situations in third world countries where they have family members in neighborhoods that are like relying on them. Like, what are we doing? You're living the dream. You're living the dream. And you're throwing it away for this? It's tough, man. Look, Luis Ortiz, I didn't rock the boat that much. Clase? Saves leader last year?
Bro, he finished what, second in the Cy Young voting like 2 years ago? Or was it last year? Still, like, what are we talking? Like, decisions are being made that are like destroying careers. That it blows my mind.
What?
I understand. I'm not in these situations, so it's easy for me to sit back. But I'm like, I
guess
I have to imagine that I wouldn't be enticed by fixing a bet when I'm making that kind of money. I don't know. Whatever. Maybe Yeah, no, easy for me to say, I guess.
I
Whatever.
suppose.
Last thing here, we got the entrance for Duran made its way from Minnesota to Philly. And I have to say, I hadn't considered that taking place in October was a possibility until like yesterday. And I'm very much excited for that possibility.
Hot take. I'm out on entrances.
Are they watered? Have we gotten to the point where they're watered down to the point
Super
that like
watered down.
some guys have them that shouldn't? Yes, but we've been saying that for some time now. So I've chosen to focus on the positives and appreciate the ones that I think are deserving and are of high quality. And I think this is one of those cases because he is very good at what he does, and the entrance is also very good.
I'm going on the negative here.
I'm not surprised.
I woke up early this morning. I got a headache. I didn't have enough water today. I'm feeling negative. I'm out on entrances.
Maybe you should get a glass of water.
I just don't need them. They're not that good. There should
this is coming
threshold of the amount of saves you need to have in your career.
There's a literal guy on your wall behind you that had
that is the
best
only entrance,
if not the best entrance in all of baseball, and you're telling me that you don't need entrances?
That's the last one that should have been had. Until you're starting to stir up that conversation,
until you're the greatest closer of all time, you can't have an entrance.
I need you over 150 saves in your career before you get an entrance.
Get Rob on the horn.
150 to 200. That's where I'll put you at. That's the threshold for me. Otherwise, just jog in like every other pitcher. You got your music on.
It's less about.
It's fine.
It's less about the pitcher and more about the fans.
It's about the drama.
That's obvious.
Fine.
That's obvious.
That's fine. That's fine. Just do it for every ninth inning then.
But hey, I'll hear you out. I've heard your take. Your take has been heard. It's been received.
Thank you.
That's all we got. Let's go ahead and wrap this thing up.
Is your time at the beach today done, or are you going back?
Nope, it's over. It's gonna be time to grub out here in just a minute. So,
are you walking distance to the beach?
Yeah, dude.
Are you on the beach?
No, but this is the closest we've ever been, and it's fantastic.
Do you have sand everywhere?
Not yet, but probably in a couple.
You just got there yesterday? Friday.
Yeah, yesterday.
For a week.
It's
a lot of sand.
Potential for a lot of sand.
Good boardwalk ice cream. Is that in the cards?
Ice cream is in the cards. Big cookout tradition down here. We make our visits to cookout for some shakes. So
what's that? Cherry wine? Is that what it is?
Cheer wine. That's the soda.
Cheer wine.
But that's not a shake. That's not a shake. No.
All right, good stuff. Well, good luck with that. I'm gonna go get in the pool.
Good luck with that, sir.
Read the hat. Don't go chasing curveballs.
We love you all, and as always, looking forward to talking more baseball with you guys soon. Until next time, stay filthy.